Hello, welcome to Poets Time. I've decided that maybe as a way of introducing as many writers as possible to you, I'm going to do small vox pops with a variety of writers from Scotland, and what a wealth of talent we have. People have been ferreting away and working so hard during this COVID, and I'm very happy today to have a wonderful writer with me. She's from the south side of Glasgow, an excellent writer and a wonderful performer as well. So this is Helen Sinclair.
The Returning Soldier. He was Mum's great love, she confessed to me once. But how long could that have applied? No sooner had we girls been born, endowing on them a proper family status, than his insidious, tyrannical darkness began seeping through. Even before uprooting us and forcing us to move to his anonymous town, so far away from our nurturing, normal kin, the violence had already begun. His liberated war prisoner rage, now given free rein, soon rampaged beyond the pale. Wrecked by his Far East sufferings, then abandoned by his own wily government, and left untreated to be further manipulated by impossible responsibility, and by whiskey and beer. That great love of hers, the ex-POW with the film star looks and shiny shoes, lashed out time and time again and crushed all the innocence, purity, and life out of each one of us, the ones he professed to love the best.
Helen, wow. So is that, I mean, you don't have to share, but is that a personal poem?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, well,
I
mean, it is, and I presume that's your dad?
Yes.
Yeah, so your dad, he must have, I think it's an interesting take then on what happens sometimes to people who are brutalised in that way in a prisoner of war camp, then that comes home. So are you in a family of, is it daughters? You had 3 daughters?
3 daughters, yes. And I tried in this poem to get away from the blame and the hatred that I felt for many, many years, because I've let that go now. Mm-hmm. I think I've said to you, Linda, that I paid a visit when I was in Singapore years ago to Changi Prison, where he had been held for, well, he was a prisoner of war for 3.5 years, and part of that time was spent in Changi Prison. And the most overwhelming silence actually overtook me when I was there. I couldn't say a word, which is so unlike me, but I felt as though I was being cleansed in that place of all the anger and all the hatred, and I thought, the poor soul.
And I actually, information there about what they went through.
Yeah, I mean, I had read a lot about it anyway, but I started reading more after that experience, and that visit and the writing about it is all very cathartic for me. Mm-hmm. And this poem I only wrote in the last week, so it's been during lockdown. But as you imagined might be the case, I've been inspired by something Leslie wrote, Leslie Benzie, mm-hmm. in her Sewn Up collection.
Yeah, I thought you might be. I told you that. I thought this is going to talk to you, Helen. Anyway, thank you very much for sharing that poem, and I'd love to hear another one, please.
Oh, much brighter. You'll be glad to hear. From a sorely damaged male influence in my life, I now move to the opposite end of the spectrum, the steadiest influence of all, my pappy. This poem, I've written this one just recently, prompted by yourself in one of our classes. And you've heard the beginning of it because I started it in class, but you haven't heard it right through. I've called it Conkers, Mud Pies and Monoliths. There were no standing stones in the garden of my youngest, tenderest years, though mystical moments abounded when my 70-year-old pappy was near. To my little child mind, he was Merlin, my monolith, protector, best friend. Thinking back, fondest memories enfold me. If only our timelines could bend. All that's good in me now was well nurtured through our long, verdant summertime days of togetherness, laughter, and questions galore on nature and its wonderful ways. His rich history bred infinite hunger to learn all that I could of his lore, and the mysteries of bloodline connection drew me close with pure love at its core. His munificence did have its limits, as I found out one day to my shock. Smoke a cigarette, would you, young rascal? Let's see if the pipe makes you balk. It did, I admit, taste disgusting, but defiant, I brazened it out. Teeth and lips clasping tightly, I puffed like a grampus and felt lucky to not get a clout. But I never did take up pipe smoking, so his lesson that day sure took root. Beloved old man, can you see what you've wrought? In high hopes all life long, that same love I have sought. A near 70-year-long vain pursuit.
Oh, yes, much beloved indeed.
Oh, I just, he's with me every day, in my head, in my
Is
heart.
that your mother's dad?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that just sounds pure love coming out of that poem, Helen. And yes, a great contrast and beautifully read both with the moods of both.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
It was really nice to hear them. So that was Helen Sinclair, and aren't I lucky in my job, having to meet all these wonderful people and hear their work. So I'd like to say thank you very much for joining Helen and I in this short Poets Time, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.